You find yourself falling into a nightmare. Tyrion, I'm so sorry. I can't believe they made you watch. Are you okay? Right, of course not. Are you going to keep fighting them? Your voice is quiet. Your question barely comes out as a whisper. What? Are you going to keep fighting the nobility? I don't know if I can anymore. Today they showed me what they're truly capable of. I was naive. I thought that the truth would prevail, but I'm only one person. I can't do this alone anymore. So you're just going to give up? You're the only one who will fight against them. If you're just going to give up, then was my mother's death truly pointless? I'm sorry. Teach me how to be like you. What? You said that you can't do this alone anymore, right? So teach me how to be a defense attorney. I can help you. We can fight them together. Tyrion, you're just a child. I can't just... Miss Tymora, please. I don't have anything left. Please, just take me away from here. You clutch your hand tightly, feeling the fading warmth of the final message that your mother left for you. It's the last comforting memory you'll have of her. It's a memory that you'll never experience again. Mom. You're startled awake. After some confusion, you realize that it was all a dream. You didn't have any trouble falling asleep, but your slumber was less than restful. It's been a while since you've remembered that day. That's all the more reason to leave the city as soon as possible. Celeste, are you up? Huh? Celeste was wistfully staring out the window, watching the rain. Her head whips towards you and she realizes that you're awake. Are you okay? What's wrong? Nothing, it's nothing. He wasn't awake, was he? Happiness and shock. She doesn't seem keen on sharing. It'd be best not to pry. Anyways, do you know if the city is still under lockdown? I haven't checked yet. I was waiting for you to wake up. You go outside and check the city gates. The blockade still hasn't disappeared. In fact, it looks like it's been fortified with even more knights. Looks like we can't leave yet. They've even doubled down on the guards. What's going on here? Tyrion! You spot Rika in the distance as she calls out to you. As soon as she sees you, she breaks out into a full sprint towards you. She looks exhausted. Has she been looking for you in the rain? Tyrion, it's terrible! There was an accident at the Arcane refinery last night. One of my friends who worked there, he fell into a vat of chemicals. Is his skin bleached? Is his hair green? Because I know how this plays out and it is not pretty. He's dead. Rika, I'm so sorry. If there's anything I can do... Lord Von Sanctus is blaming the Dracogen Trading Company. He's trying to charge the owner with criminal negligence. As the lord of this region, Von Sanctus would have a lot of leverage in a legal battle like this. He must be using this accident as an opportunity to oust Dracogen from his territory. Tyrion, you're a lawyer, aren't you? Can you help them? I don't think I can. What? But... Rika, I specialize in homicide cases, and most of my clients are mages who've been charged with murder. I've never even tried a case like this before. There isn't any magic involved, and there's no killer. Don't worry, I'm sure that the Dracogen Trading Company knows plenty of qualified attorneys who can help. I'm not so sure about that. Think about it. A lord from one of the four pillar families is pressing those charges. Do you honestly think anyone else will try to fight them on this? She has a point. There aren't many attorneys who will go against the nobility under any circumstances. The only ones who will do that are you and Miss Tymora. Alright, I'll see what I can do. Really? But please don't get your hopes up. I have very little information to work with right now. And to be perfectly honest, I'm really out of my element. That's okay, I'm sure that Mr. Dracogen will take any help he can get. Mr. Dracogen? He's the owner of the Dracogen Trading Company. He should be at the old Arcane refinery right now. That must the scene of the accident, too. It would probably be best to start your investigation there. I've been away from the shop for too long, so I can't come up with you. But drop by the cafe if there's anything I can do to help. You follow Rika's directions and move through the city's industrial district. It reminds you of your childhood, back when you couldn't control the Eye of Horus. You always avoided this part of the city. It was always covered with an overwhelming fog of misery and fatigue. However, you feel less of that now. Is it because you have more control over your powers, or has something else changed? Alright, we're here. You arrive at the refinery and see that there aren't many people around. The few people you do see appear to be from the City Watch. Operations must have been halted after the accident. Wow, so this is an Arcane refinery? I always saw this place as a child, but I never really understood what they do here. Those machines refine the arcane crystals that are used in artificery. Those crystals are used as a power source for conducting magical energy. You look around and spot an especially frustrated individual. He seems to stand out from the knights and cleaning staff. Could he be the guildmaster Rika spoke of? He takes notice of you as you head further into the refinery. Hello there, you must be the attorney that Miss Tudor spoke about. I am. I take it you're the guildmaster of the Dracogen Trading Company. Yes, my name is Stefanik Dracogen. I'm pleased to make your acquaintance. I really appreciate you lending your aid in this matter. I already told Rika this, but I've never tried a civil case before. I would need to learn more about what happened before I can decide whether or not I can represent you. I'm honestly not sure how much help I can be. Well, there isn't a single attorney in Oranax that will represent me, so I'll accept whatever help I can get. Celeste was right. All the attorneys are too afraid to stand against Lord Von Sanctus. Where should we start, though? This case is probably different from the homicides that we're used to. Homicide or not, the case revolves around a wrongful death. If I did represent Dracogen, I would need to prove that he wasn't at fault for the accident. To do that, we should start by finding out exactly how and why the accident occurred. We should also question the witnesses who saw the victim when it happened. And it wouldn't hurt to take a look at the scene of the accident either. The Guildmaster would have a lot of knowledge about the refinery's operations. Questioning him might also give you some insight into what happened. So are they using Guildmaster as a compound word, or does it have a space? Because I think they aren't consistent on that yet. So I just want to talk to him to see that before we examine stuff. To start, can you tell us exactly what happened? And notice here, it's one word, but in the last appearance it was two. Well, it all began during the work rush yesterday. One of my employees fell from the walkway and into a vat of magical chemicals. Those chemicals contain extremely volatile and destructive evocation magic. Because of that, he unfortunately died before we could have pulled him out. I see. But that all just sounds like an unfortunate accident. Why is Lord Von Sanctus blaming you for what happened? There are guardrails on the walkways to prevent people from falling. Supposedly, those guardrails broke apart when that employee tried to lean against it. According to Von Sanctus, the accident was a direct result of my negligence to maintain the refinery. But my employees have taken great care to inspect and maintain the facilities. I have no idea how this happened. Is he telling the truth? This could all just be lip service. The only way to know for sure is to inspect the walkway yourself. It's a vat filled with chemicals that I can't quite identify. According to Celeste, these chemicals are used to refine and create arcane crystals. These metal stairs lead up to the walkway above. You can get a better look at the walkway by moving there. It's a power box. It contains artificery hardware and an arcane power cell. It's connected to the chemical vat, so it must control some function of the refinery.
Repario Arcanum!
There are traces of transmutation magic on these parts of the vat. I'm honestly not quite sure how these vats even work. Perhaps transmutation magic is used in the refinement process somehow. There are traces of transmutation magic on this power box. It is an artificery device, so that's not too out of the ordinary. Earlier, you said that the victim was an employee of yours. Could you tell us more about them? Yes, I hired him just a few months ago. It's a shame what happened to him. He was a young man named Justin Way. Was he a good employee? He was a hard worker, but he was a bit rough around the edges when he first started. Before working for me, I heard that he'd always spend his time with the local delinquents. Miss Tudor practically begged me to hire him. She told me that she wanted to turn his life around. That does sound like something Rika would do. She always had a habit of getting involved in her friend's personal business. So we get the clue that Rika helped Justin. When you live a life like Justin's, it helps when you have something to give you some structure and direction. So I decided to give the boy a chance by hiring him. He was clearly a hard worker. He did well to earn his keep. He always followed the rules too, so I have no idea why he was up in that walkway. Wait, he wasn't supposed to be on that walkway? Earlier, you mentioned that Justin wasn't supposed to be on the walkway. What did you mean by that? Well, Justin worked in an entirely different department. He was part of a team that managed packaging and freight. He had no business being inside the refinery building, much less the upper walkway. That's strange, to say the least. Was he the type of person to wander around places that he's not supposed to? No. Like I said before, he always followed my rules. Well, it just makes this whole situation that much more confusing. So now we know the details about his job. Was there anyone around when the accident occurred? Did anyone see Justin fall? There were many employees here at the time, but there were only a handful of witnesses who actually saw Justin fall from the walkway. Who were these witnesses? If I remember correctly, Miss Tudor was the one who saw him fall. Wait, Rika was there when it happened? Yes, she witnessed the accident alongside the harbor master. Morrison. Oh? You're acquainted with him? I am. Morrison was close friends with your mother when you were a child. But after you left Oranax, you went on your way to cut contact with everyone from your past. But what were all these people doing here in the first place? Rika is a cafe owner and Morrison's a harbor master. I'm a little concerned about that myself. I'm still unsure about Miss Tudor, but the harbor master was accompanied by a nobleman of some sort. A nobleman? I'm not privy to the specifics, but apparently that nobleman had the legal authority to go wherever he wanted to. You'll want to ask Morrison more about that. But it will be awkward to speak with him after all these years. Telling you, green hair, bleached skin, that's how this plays out. Tyrion, do you need me to scan for magical traces? Well, there aren't any magical elements in this case, but I suppose it wouldn't hurt to check. Alright. It looks like the guardrails completely broke apart. The rails are completely rusted too. Was Dracogen lying about properly maintaining the site? It's a vat of dangerous magical chemicals. Supposedly, they're corrosive enough to dissolve anyone unfortunate enough to fall into it. Celeste is watching you carefully. She can be a little overprotective at times.
Repario Arcanum!
What? What's wrong? There are traces of transmutation all over the guardrails. Transmutation? Do you see those traces anywhere else on the walkway? No, it's only this area. So we get the clue of transmutation. Transmutation is a school of magic that changes the properties of physical objects. Usually mages use transmutation spells to strengthen and repair objects. Someone used a spell to change the physical properties of the guardrails. Judging by the current state of the rails, we can only conclude one thing. The spell weakened structural integrity of the walkway. Is it? Okay, just want to make sure. Okay, guardrails was here. Right, someone used a transmutation spell to weaken the guardrails. Afterwards, the guardrails were so weak that Justin accidentally broke them. And only these guardrails were weakened. The sabotage rails are right next to this vat of corrosive chemicals, too. There was a clear intention behind the actions of this unknown mage. Judged by what happened, that intention can only be one thing. So, unknown mage wanted someone to fall into the vat. Whoever sabotaged the guardrail wanted someone to fall into the vat. Why else would they only target those specific guardrails? But why? Who would do this? You can feel your fists clenching tightly. Someone committed murder using magic here. And whoever did this had the gall to try to cover it up. Tyrion? You won't forgive whoever did this. When you're through with them, you will make them feel a fraction of the misery that your mother... Tyrion? What? Are you okay? Right, sorry. Anyways, if it weren't for your detect magic, everyone would have written this off as an accident. Magical traces are only detectable for 48 hours after a mage casts a spell. That means that whoever cast a transmutation spell did so recently. Right. So we have the transmutation clue with the time limit. Like, it's... I kind of wonder at times, like... You imagine the residue would weaken over time, so would you be able to use the weakening residue as a way to calculate roughly how long ago something was cast? Nope, skip that one. The hitbox on this one's a little weird. There are traces of evocation magic on the chemicals in these vats. That makes sense. Evocation is a school of magic for spells that create and disperse energy. These chemicals probably induce some sort of magical reaction to create arcane crystals. You should notify your coach about the trace of transmutation that you found. Perhaps you should wait until you obtain more information first. Knowing about a potential saboteur might not necessarily stress him out, even more so if you don't have more information. Okay, defeats the point of that one. I assume Celeste will be here in the town square to give you advice. Several businesses have opened up since the last time I came here, and they all seem to be pretty busy. The blockade is preventing people from leaving the city. The local shops will probably be getting a lot more business until the Kingsguard lets us out. There's no skip or anything. It's a statue of some kind of daredevil? That's Ferdinand Dumont, a famous stunt performer and physicist. I heard he used to run shows here several decades ago. He'd always jump over large obstacles or crevices in some kind of wheeled vehicle. I heard he even tried creating flying machines near the end of his career. Flying machines? Yeah, I heard he didn't even use magic to make them fly. It's a shame the kingdom hasn't tried to develop his research further. So yeah, that's it.
Preparing Arcanum!
Oh man, there's nothing on the statue. I still don't get it. A mage sabotaged the guardrails. It's as if they wanted someone to fall into that vat. Could this actually be a murder? It's hard to say for sure, but there's clearly more to this accident than meets the eye. But if it really was a murder, what could possibly be the motive? Where should we go next? Supposedly, 3 people witnessed the accident. Morrison, Rika, and an unknown person. Morrison is the harbor master of the city's harbor, so we can probably find him there. Yeah, we'll definitely want to talk to him about what he saw. You arrive at the harbor in search of Morrison, the harbor master. However, you notice a large concentration of knights in the shipping area. Notably, the Arcane Inquisition is among them. You spot Commander White and Prosecutor Steelman coordinating the knights there. Wonder what those two are doing here. The knights at the blockade said that they were investigating something. There must be magic involved if the Inquisition is here. Do you think this has anything to do with what happened to Justin? I doubt it. We didn't see any Inquisition knights at the refinery. Must just be a coincidence. You're probably right. But I'm kinda curious about what the Inquisition is investigating. It has nothing to do with our case. It'd be best to leave them to their business. Alright. Oi, you there. You'd best clear out. The knights have closed the harbor. Morrison? Huh? Do I know you? Wait, Cuthbert? Is that you? Noah Morrison. Hi. I heard from little Masurika that you were back in town. Yeah, I don't know how her name's supposed to be pronounced because I've never seen anything like that. If it's supposed to be Mosarika or Masorika. Since he calls her Rika, I'm kind of leaning towards the new way. What can I do for you? We heard that you were at the refinery yesterday. From what we heard, you witnessed the accident. We wanted to ask you some questions about what you saw. Oh, right. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to remember. Mosarika mentioned that you're an attorney now. What? I just hope you're still not hung up over that business with your mother. Sorry, guess it's none of my business. Anyways, I'll tell you what I know. It's a modest ship. It's probably used by local business to transport goods by sea. They need to fix the holes in the sail for that. Can't help but feel nostalgic seeing these ships. I used to travel by sea all the time when I was traveling the world. It was probably my favorite part. That does sound pretty nice. I'd like to try riding one day. Are you sure? You get motion sick pretty easily. Sailing on a ship might kill you. She has a point there. That one has the same holes in it. I guess it's not as bad as that one there. A row of houses line the edge of the harbor. When I was a kid, I always dreamed of saving up enough gold to buy my own house on the harbor front. Well, you have a job as an attorney now. You can always move back here. No, if possible, I never want to return to the city again. So I'm trying to look outside real quick. Yeah, I know it has the neighborhood dogs fired up. It's too early for the mail. Their cellar crates contain all kinds of goods. They must be the merchandise of the local businesses.
Repario Arcanum.
Dracosian told us that you witnessed the accident. Aye, it was a horrible thing what happened. No one deserved what happened to that poor lad. Could you tell us what you saw? Well, I was showing a patron around town, and for some reason he really wanted to take a look at the refinery. Something about checking out the local artificery. He must mean artificery. Anyways, he was looking at the machinery, then suddenly, Mosarika came running towards us. She was trying to tell us something, but the damn machines were too loud for us to hear her. After a while, she just pointed at the walkway, and we saw the horrible sight. We saw someone fall into the vat. By the time we could get them to stop the machines, it was too late. That matches up with what you know so far. But what was Rika even doing there? She should have still been running the cafe at the time of the accident. And that patron who was visiting the factory, did they also witness the accident? Could you tell us how Justin fell off of the walkway? Was it because the guardrail broke under his weight? Yeah, he did, but it was a little strange. That guardrail was made out of metal, yeah? But the way it broke, you would have thought that it was made out of cardboard. He barely leaned on it and it just broke apart. Even a poorly maintained guardrail shouldn't have broken that easily. Did someone really use transmutation magic to sabotage it? If so, that possibility could clear Dracosian's name. But presenting the possibility of a magical crime might just complicate things. You mentioned that you were escorting a patron when the accident happened. Who was he? Did he witness the accident too? He was right there with me when Rika was trying to get our attention. It'd be hard to miss it with the commotion she was making. As for who he was, he said his name was Aster. Aster? You don't know anyone by that name. But why does that name sound familiar? Do you know what his surname was? Nope, the lad was really secretive with his last name for some reason. He must have had a recognizable name. Is he a noble from a well-known house? So we have his testimony now. Why were you escorting this Aster in the first place? Don't you have to manage the harbor? Well, I can't really manage anything, goes He gestures towards the Inquisition Knights crowding the pier. They had blocked all sea travel out of the city till his mess is sorted out. They have a lot of knights investigating the harbor. Do you know what they're looking for? Well, you didn't hear this from me. But according to them, Aster's ship just up and vanished in the dead of night. Vanished, as in someone hijacked it? That's the thing, the guards would have noticed if someone had driven off with the ship, especially one of that size. From what I heard, one of the guards could have sworn that they saw it vanish in a flash of light. A flash of light? Like something created by a spell? What kind of ship was it? Do you know how big it was? From the size of it, I'd say that it was probably a galleon. A galleon? A spell of that scale would have to be pretty powerful to affect a ship of that size. I wonder who this Aster person is. He must be high profile if they're calling in the Kingsguard and the Inquisition for him. All over a missing ship, too. And they had an extra article in that one. Or was it... I don't really want to open this. There's no way to collapse it, that's why, in case you're wondering. Yeah, all over a missing ship, too. Oh well. I don't even know what all those do. You spent some time with him, am I correct, Morrison? Huh, I didn't know it collapsed like that. That must be something new. Did he tell you where he was staying? If I remember right, he's staying at the local inn near the town square. Wait, that's the tavern that we were staying at. If he's this high profile, why is he staying at an inn for commoners? No idea, he's an eccentric one for sure. Whoever he is, he also witnessed the accident. You'll definitely want to speak with him. And if he's a noble, there's a chance that he's the mage that sabotaged the guardrail. You arrive at the cafe and see that the restaurant is packed with customers. You don't see Rika anywhere, though. She must be preoccupied. Perhaps you should check in when the restaurant is less busy. And then all of these reset. The table that we're sitting at seems relatively new. Rika apparently had them custom made by the local carpenter. There are some barrels stacked in the corner. There are artificery lights hanging from the ceiling. They're apparently hooked up to an arcane power grid. There's a shelf full of drinks, mugs, cream, and sugar behind the restaurant counter. This must be where they prepare coffee to be served. Rika seems to have decorated the entire cafe with several plants and flowers. The greens add a fresh and rustic ambience to the restaurant. Huh, this part looks familiar too. Morrison said that Aster is staying in one of the rooms at this tavern. But which room is it? We can always just check each room. That might irritate the patrons, though. And if Aster doesn't want to be found, we might alert him if we annoy too many people. I guess you're right. Your family owns a tavern, right? If you had to put a VIP somewhere, which room would you choose? Guess it would probably be the one at the end of the hallway. That's the one I use in my family's tavern. So, is it just me, or does this hallway look similar to the one in your family's tavern? Well, most taverns use the same architecture, so I don't think it's that strange. No, but it looks exactly like the McCoy Tavern. It's uncanny. It's as if whoever made this tavern decided to just reuse the same design. Hey, making unique designs is difficult, Tyrion, and it does cost money. Do you really think developers should be spending resources on a location that you'll only see once? I don't know, it just seems kinda lazy. Well, if it bothers you so much, why don't you pay for the assets required to make a new one? You decide to drop the matter. Huh, so we only have two things to inspect here. According to Celeste's intuition, the innkeeper would have probably given Aster this room. You approach the door and firmly knock on it. Hello? Someone does come to answer the door, but they only open the door a fraction of the way. The crack in the door is less than an inch wide. You can't get a look at the person's face. I'm terribly sorry, but if your business isn't urgent, I'd like to be left alone. Sorry if I'm intruding, but are you Aster? My name is Tyrion Cuthbert. I'm the defense attorney of Stefanik Dracogen. From what I've heard, you witnessed the accident at the refinery yesterday. I was wondering if I could ask you a few questions about what you saw. Upon hearing your name, the man fully opens the door, and you're finally able to get a good look at him. He definitely stands out from the other patrons of the inn. He must be the wealthy patron that you're looking for. Tyrion Cuthbert, the protege of the infamous Ruby Timora. So, you know who I am. I do. I know you very well. I'm your biggest fan. What? I can't believe it. The infamous Tyrion Cuthbert is staying right in front of my tavern room? What? I've read all about your feats, Mr. Cuthbert. You successfully indicted the head of the House Pierce. You didn't think twice about confronting the inheritor of House Freyga. And you even defeated Lord Von Sanctus in the chess tournament yesterday. I'm so lost right now. And you must be Celeste McCoy, Tyrion's first client and the Crimson Demon of the Eastern Kingdoms. How did you find out about that name? The Crimson what? Don't ask. Anyways, if you are Aster, does that mean you witnessed the accident with the Harbor Master yesterday? Yes, I did. Are you going to interrogate me about what I saw? I'll answer whatever questions you have. You've never met a witness that has been this eager to cooperate. But hopefully this means that he won't hide any details about what he saw.
Repario Arcanum.
You clearly know who I am, but I'm still unsure of who you are, Aster. My apologies, but I would prefer to keep my full identity hidden for now. He's within his right to do so, but you can't help but feel a little suspicious. In any case, what is your business in Ornax? I was accompanying a ship transporting goods to Lord Von Sanctus. The same ship that was magically stolen. I'm surprised you found out about that. Shock. The Kingsguard have been trying their best to keep that information hidden. But I suppose I shouldn't expect anything less from you, Mr. Cuthbert. Flattery will get him nowhere. What was on that ship? It must be pretty valuable to be worth stealing. I doubt that there was anything on that ship worth drawing the ire of the entire kingdom. The truth is, during the time that my ship was stolen, I was supposed to be on it. I see. The theft of the ship might have actually been an attempt to kidnap you. That's my current theory anyway. Wouldn't make sense otherwise. He seems awfully calm about this. According to Morrison, you were also in the refinery that night. Did you witness the moment the victim fell into the vat? I did. Could you tell us exactly what you saw? Every detail you can remember could be important. Well, it all began when I was visiting the refinery with the Harbor Master. I was inspecting the refinery's machines when a girl frantically came running towards us. She was hysterical. It looked like she was trying to tell us something. But we couldn't hear her over the noise of the machines. When she realized that we couldn't hear her, she simply pointed at the walkway. That's when we saw Justin Way fall off it into the vat. The next question is very important. Did you see the victim break the guardrail by leaning on it? Yes, he broke the guardrail before he fell. His testimony matches exactly with what Morrison saw. So now we have their collaborative testimony, combined testimony, I don't know what you want to call it exactly. The way he fell was very strange, though. Strange? What do you mean by that? You mentioned the way the victim fell was strange. Did you feel like the guardrail broke too easily? Why yes, how did you know? It matches with the statement that the Harbor Master gave us. You don't want to reveal the traces of transmutation that you found on the walkway, at least not yet. But yes, the guardrail broke the moment that Justin leaned on it. And his body was extremely limp when falling too. His body was limp. Normally, when falling from a great height, one would flail their arms, yes? But when I saw him falling, he wasn't moving at all. He wasn't moving. Did you see the expression on his face? He might have been unconscious. I'm afraid I couldn't see anything on his face. It was much too dark to make out his features. Wait, you didn't actually see his face? How do you know it was actually him that fell in? Well, who else could it have been? No one else has been reported missing. They also found the remnants of Justin's body in the vat. It was definitely him that fell in. That's true. You don't have much reason to believe that Justin might still be alive. There were traces of transmutation magic at the crime scene, and it appears that Aster is quite a high-profile individual. He's probably a mage, and aside from Rika, he was probably the only other mage at the refinery that If you ask him outright, you might be able to see something incriminating through the eye of Horus. Aster, we'll respect your privacy if you don't want to tell us who you are, but could you at least answer one question for me? I can make no promises, but I'll do my best to tell you what I can. Are you a mage? Oh, is that all? Yes, I am a mage, and I'm quite the practiced one at that. You see, Celeste cast Detect Magic to look at the scene of the accident, and we found traces of transmutation magic at the crime scene, namely on the guardrails that Justin fell through. What? Here it is. I can't believe it. What? Are you telling me that a mage used transmutation magic to weaken the rails? It's a conspiracy. Wait, does that mean this was actually a murder made to look like an accident? It's like something out of the reports I've read about him. You don't see anything incriminating, and you can see his thoughts clearly. His feelings of happiness are a bit off-putting, though. And you asked me if I was a mage? Does that mean that I'm a potential suspect? This is the greatest thing that ever happened to me. This is the first time you met someone that's happy to be suspected of murder. Sorry, it's not right of me to get so excited about something this serious. And I missed the text there. I don't know if they tell you on the log or not. Sorry, it's not right of me to get excited about something this serious. He must think less of me now. But it's like something out of a mystery novel. That's not the reaction you were expecting. Nevertheless, it doesn't look like there are any incriminating thoughts in his mind. And the emotions that he was emanating were all positive. There wasn't a drop of fear in there. What could this mean? Either way, it looks like you found out everything you can from Aster. You should move somewhere else. And I'm gonna take a small break. Okay, let's pick up where I left off. Tyrion, you're back! Did you talk to Mr. Dracogen? I did. I'm still not sure what to make of him just yet. But after what I've seen today, I don't think I can turn a blind eye to what's happening. There were traces of transmutation magic on the guardrails. Regardless of their motives, someone sabotaged those rails with the intent of harming an employee at the refinery. If this truly was a murder, you have to find out who did this and why. I'll represent him in court for the criminal case. Thanks, it really means a lot to me. On that note, you were at the refinery when the accident occurred, am I correct? Yes, I was. May I ask you a few questions about what you saw that day? Of course, I'll do whatever I can to help. So did these reset again? No. Barrels in the corner. Seems relatively new. Yeah, the whole reset thing is just weird. And we have a psychological profile on her, I should point out. Why were you at the refinery? Or, by the way, why were you at the refinery that day? Didn't you have to work at the cafe? I was making a food delivery to Justin. Wait, you were delivering food to the victim? Yeah, he never had the time to make his own dinner. So I always delivered his dinner during his evening break. But that night, I couldn't find him in the freight area, so I went looking for him in the refinery building. So the accident happened while you were delivering his food. So there's the food delivery. Clue, that is. Did you talk to Justin at all before the accident? I did. When I finally found him in the refinery building, he seemed busy. He told me to leave his food in the break room. He was busy, but according to Dracogen, he should have never been in the refinery building in the first place. Did he say what he was busy with? He said that he had a meeting scheduled with Mr. Dracogen. That can't be true, though. Dracogen didn't mention anything about this. Unless... So, there's a meeting. What did you... We've gotten a few witness accounts already, but I just want to double-check. What did you see during the accident? Sorry, I'm sure that was a disturbing sight. Do you need to take a moment? No, it's okay. It happened after Justin told me to leave his food at the break room. It was my first time inside the refinery, so I spent some time looking at all of the machines. That's when I suddenly heard a strange sound from the walkway. When I looked to see what it was, I saw Justin fall from there. I tried to find someone to help him, but no one could hear me because of how loud the machines were. Before I finally got them to understand what happened, it was already too late. Did you see the guardrail break when Justin fell off the walkway? More specifically, did it break from Justin's weight? I'm honestly not sure. I was too busy trying to find help. So... this is... the importance here is... she saw him fall, she went to get help, and then the people she went to get help with saw him fall. You have matching witness accounts from Aster and Morrison. They saw the guardrail break. Having Rika also confirm that would have been helpful. But you suppose Aster and Morrison's statements will have to suffice. Rika's account of what happened is a lot less detailed than Aster and Morrison's. But she did see Justin before the accident. You still have no idea why Justin was on that walkway in the first place. According to Rika, he said he had a meeting scheduled with Dracogen. But this doesn't match with what Dracogen told you. Either Justin or Dracogen must be lying in that case. You've met Dracogen already, but you still have no idea what kind of person Justin was. Perhaps Rika can tell you more. Could you tell us more about the victim? What kind of person was he? He was a good person. He fell in with a bad crowd a few years ago, but he was starting to turn his life around. I saw how much he was trying to change, so I asked Mr. Dracogen to give him a job. I really wanted to help him change his life for the better. But this job just ended up killing him. And you get the sadness. You can't blame yourself for this. No one could have known that this would happen. I guess you're right. It's hard not to think about, though. Was he the type of person to go to places that he wasn't supposed to be? No, not anymore. Not anymore. He really wanted to make a good impression on Mr. Dracogen. He always talked about following the rules. He even got mad at me a few times when I accidentally broke Dracogen's protocols. Right, that matches up with what Dracogen said. But maybe he was falling back into his old habits. Perhaps Rika can tell you more about what he was like before he turned his life around. You've mentioned that Justin fell in with a bad crowd before. I've also heard that he used to hang out with a band of local delinquents. Could you tell us more about them? There's the shock. What? Rika, this information will help us with our investigation. I need to speak with the other people who knew him. Do you know where I could find his delinquent friends? I'm sorry, I really didn't know him that well. I should keep quiet, it might make him mad. Rika, are you hiding something from me? What? Of course not. What would the Dark Lord of Oranax possibly have to hide from you? Yeah, she's definitely hiding something. You'll need to argue against her if you want the truth. So we're missing a piece here. So let's head back to the refinery. Such a shame what happened to Justin. Can't believe an accident like that happened under my watch. Seems sincere, but you're still a little skeptical of him. So I was curious if he had anything to say to those. I'm just gonna try a couple more testimony things, see if he reacts. Doesn't say anything about the meeting. Doesn't say anything about that. just curious if anything changed on her. Let's see if Aster has anything that may have changed. So we can't show him that because it's a terrible thing that happened. I can't imagine what Justin's last moments must have been like. I didn't expect an aristocrat to remember the name of a commoner. The comment came out harsher than you intended. I suppose I deserve that. I haven't done much to help the common folk. I have a long way to go before I can do that. Okay, so those are the different plans.
Arcanum.
I was hoping to complete the profile, but I'm not seeing what part I'm missing. Mosorika Tudor appears to be hiding something from you. She clearly knows about the bad crowd that Justin fell in with, but she's hiding who they are and where you can find them. You'll need to convince her to share that information with you. Rika, you know about Justin's friends, don't you? Just be honest with me. I'm not hiding anything. I really don't know that much about him. I wasn't that close to Justin Way. I may have delivered his food, but he was just a customer to me. I might have believed that you delivered his food because he was a good customer, but that wasn't all you did for him. You saw that he was trying to turn his life around, and you begged your Kojin to set him up with a job. You wouldn't do that for a customer that you barely knew. Well, that still proves nothing. I am Mosorika Tudor, High Archmage of the Academy of Flame. Is it so hard to believe that I took pity on a stranger? I only helped because I'm a generous person. It would only be right for me to equip a commoner with the means to change his life. Okay, so I guess you have to doubt her. You're not a good liar, Rika. You would have risked a lot by asking Dracojin to hire a stranger, especially a stranger with a dubious past like Justin. What if Justin fell back into his old ways? That would have surely brought about consequences on you and your business. You wouldn't take a risk like that unless you knew him well enough to trust him. Okay, fine. I guess we were friends. But like I said before, he was trying to leave his old life behind. He didn't like talking about the person he was back then. He wanted to forget about it, and I never brought it up. He always kept his past a secret from me. It's sort of true. We knew each other for years before he told me about it. So you can see the contradiction here. Sort of true, but it's not quite there. I doubt that, Rika. In fact, I'm sure that you were friends for at least a few years. With a friendship that old, I'm sure he would have confided in you about his past. What? No, you need to stay focused. Rika, I don't know why you thought you had to lie about this. But I need to talk to Justin's former friends. Is that really necessary? Yes, I need to know why he was behaving so strangely before the accident. His friends might know something about him that you and Dracojin don't. But that doesn't make any sense. Okay, there's gonna be a cut there because someone stopped over. I'm hoping I didn't read this already. I think you're just overthinking this, Tyrion. There wasn't anything strange about the way he was acting. He wasn't in his correct area, for one. You didn't want to overplay your hand before, but looks like you don't have a choice now. Rika, Justin told you that he was heading to a scheduled meeting in Dracogen's office. But according to Dracogen, Justin wasn't even supposed to be in the refinery building yesterday. What? Rika, Justin might have lied to you. No, he would never do that. I need to know why he was up there. And so far, the statements that I've gotten from you and Dracogen don't explain that. I need to talk to people who might know things about him, and about him that you don't. Okay. I'll tell you where you can find them. Just promise me that you'll be safe, okay? You've successfully persuaded Mosorika Tudor. And before I came back, I did look. The thing you were supposed to present to get the final piece of evidence was this one, I think. I'm terribly sorry for what happened to Justin. Are you doing okay? Yeah, it's difficult to think about sometimes. You always hear about these things happening, but you never expect them to happen to people you know. But have no fear. It will take more than this to bring down the High Archmagi. She's reverted back to her Chuni personality. And if you don't know, Chuni, I don't remember what it stands for in Japanese. It's basically like a power fantasy type thing. It's weird to explain. I don't know if I got far enough into Akiba Beat, but that was the second plotline, I think, where you get your fourth party member. His whole thing was a Chuni thing, in case you want to check that out. Where are the delinquents? Sorry, I wasn't trying to lie to you. It's okay, I'm assuming you had your reasons. But I need to know where I can find Justin's old friends. You probably know already, but a few years ago, Justin got involved with a local street gang. They'd always hang around the beach area. But one day, they discovered an abandoned house along the coastline. And they started spending most of their time there. A lone house on the coastline. It's that house, Tyrion. That's probably where you'll find Justin's old friends. So, that's why you're being so secretive. What? I'm sorry. Don't be. You were just trying to look out for me, right? Are you going to be okay? I can go there with you if you'd like. No, it's okay. I'm sure you're busy with a cafe right now. And it's not as if I'll be going alone. Alright, just don't push yourself too hard, okay? Yeah. Well, time to go home. You arrive at the old abandoned house. Upon looking at the home you left behind, you're struck with a flood of memories. Those memories were once happy, but now they only fill you with grief. Tyrion, are you okay? Yeah, let's look around. You wipe your eyes and begin looking around the house. Suddenly you hear the sound of glass breaking. You rush to look for the source and see two young teenagers throwing rocks at the side of the house. The shattered remains of a window are lying on the ground. Nice shot, Gavin. No job? Don't you just hate freeloaders like this? One of the teens, apparently named Gavin, notices you approaching. We've got company, Wyatt. Huh? Another layabout. You stare blankly at the broken glass on the ground. You're at a loss for words. You feel like you should respond, but nothing comes out of your mouth. You suddenly find yourself quickly approaching the two teens. What the hell do you want? What the hell? Before you even realized what you were doing, you threw a punch straight into Gavin's face. Your eyes are slowly tearing up. You can only see red. You grab Gavin by the collar and pull his face close to yours. Get the hell away from my house. Tyrion? Oh? You want to go? If you came looking for trouble, you sure found it. Okay, let's all calm down and just... Stay out of this, you little shit. Excuse me? What? You got caught in your ears or something? Yes, actually. Why don't you go and repeat what you said? I said stay out of this. You little sh... 5 minutes later. There's a lot of blood on the ground now. I'm kidding. Celeste? Yes. I'm sorry for losing my temper back there. I didn't mean to drag you into this. It's okay. Our emotions get the better of us sometimes. Celeste? Yes? I think you might have overdone it a bit. Nah. Celeste? Yes? I don't think he's breathing. Come on, just give him a second. You suddenly hear the very bruised and broken form of Gavin sputtering and wheezing on the ground. It looks like he's finally regained consciousness. See? He's perfectly fine. You're fine. So I think it's safe to say this time it's actually fear, not just shock. White is staring wide-eyed at Celeste. From the shaking of his legs, it looks like he wants to run away, but he's too frozen by fear to move. Don't bother running. Even with a head start, I can easily catch up to you. Anyways, these two are probably Justin's former delinquent friends, right? Are you okay with talking to them? Yes, of course. With your emotions in such disarray, you completely forgot why you came here in the first place. Would you two happen to know the young man who died at the refinery yesterday? These guys are after Justin, but he's already dead! After Justin? Was there someone with a grudge against him? Wyatt clearly thinks that you were sent on someone's behalf. It wouldn't hurt to play the part to get more information out of him. We're not here to hurt you. We're not here to hurt you anymore. We'd just like to ask you a few questions about Justin. Yeah, sure, man. Whatever you want. Alright, you two talk. I'll work on popping Gavin's shoulder back into place. It's a little disturbing how nonchalantly she says things like that. Several weeds and plant life have grown since you were last here. It doesn't look like anyone has taken care of the yard for the last few years. But you suppose that's more your fault than anyone else's. The view of the sea is just as you remember it. It's probably the only thing that hasn't changed since you left Oranax. Returning to this house has brought back several memories that you have complicated feelings for. These feelings are even more confounded by the blatant vandalism committed by Gavin and Wyatt. Honestly, you'd rather leave this place as soon as possible.
Repario Arcanum!
What can you tell me about Justin Way? According to a few witnesses we spoke to, you used to be friends. Friends is kind of pushing it. We used to hang back in the day, but we don't know more. It was weird when he started talking to us again. I thought he left for good. But he started talking to you again. Why? He just needed some of the old gear that he left at the house. Old gear? What kind of old gear? You know, his thieves' tools. All the tools you need for lockpicking and safecracking. Tools for lockpicking and safecracking? Why would Justin need those? What would Justin need lockpicking and safecracking tools for? Well, he needed to get the gold that he owed your boss. So he owed gold to someone. Word has it that he was working for the merchant that owns the refinery. I guess the owner trusted him a lot. Justin said that he had a way to get access to the safe in the guy's office. Justin was always a whiz when it came to breaking and entering. He even had tools that could crack magical locks. Getting the gold out of that safe would have been an easy score for him. Wait, Justin was planning to rob Dracogen? So now we have the planned robbery details. Wyatt apparently thinks that you were sent on behalf of someone. And from what he said so far, just note a non-trivial amount of gold to this person. If this person was some kind of criminal, could they have been the one who sabotaged the guardrail? Did Justin tell you who he owed his money to? Nah, man, he didn't say nothing. They might whack me too if I tell him the truth. So he does know. There's no point in playing dumb. Just tell us what he told you. Did he give you a name? Answer the question. The Eye Taker. He owed gold to the Eye Taker. The Eye Taker. Planned robbery updated. The Eye Taker. Must be some kind of criminal nickname. Why does that sound so familiar, though? Either way, you need to find out who this Eye Taker is. Might be best to ask someone else. Hey, Tyrion? Yeah. Back at the house, what was that all about? I've never seen you get that angry before. And you said that it was your house. Yeah, it was my house. It was? Ever since we arrived in the city, you haven't really been yourself. If you want to talk about it, I'm fine, and I don't want to talk about it. You're not fine. I can see it on your face. Please, just talk to me. It's none of your business. That came out a lot louder than you wanted it to. Celeste, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Without a word, she quickly walks ahead of you. So let's see if we can still get that. I'm terribly sorry for what happened to Justin. So yeah, it being there may be a glitch. Rika, do you know about a criminal named the Eye Taker? The Eye Taker? Can't say I've heard of them. Are you in conflict with this villain? Do they seek to steal the Eye of Horus from you? No, not exactly. At least you hope not. Either way, it looks like Rika doesn't know who the Eye Taker is. You should try asking someone else. Rika, there's something you should know about Justin. What is it? I spoke with his two friends in my old house. According to them, he was planning on robbing Dracogen. What? Sorry, I know this is hard to hear after you vouched for him. No, I don't believe it. Rika? No, he was a good person, I know it. He would never betray me and Mr. Dracogen like that. It'd be best not to push the matter further. The truth will eventually come to light. Here we are. Morrison, do you know about a criminal named the Eye Taker? The Eye Taker? Where'd you hear that name? Is it not you? Just saying. So you do know about them. I do. I've learned to keep my distance from him over the years. The Eye Taker is the criminal kingpin of this region. Every large criminal undertaking in this region happens under his watch. He's that big of a deal? Of course he is. More importantly, how did you hear about him? From what I heard, Justin Way owed him a huge debt. Justin owed them? I knew he used to run around with a bunch of rogues, but I never imagined. By the Scaled Lord. The Eye Taker might be involved in Justin's death. Do you think someone like him could be behind this? Well, there's a saying we have about what happens when you get on his bad side. Let's just say he reminds you of why he has that name. So you know who the Eye Taker is now. It definitely adds another angle to this case. But there are still some elements of this that don't make sense. You need to take some time to work through it all. But you should go talk to Dracogen first. He'll want to see everything that you've found. Hello, Mr. Cuthbert. I trust you're doing well? We are. For the most part. We've spent some time looking into the accident and the people who knew Justin. I think there might be more to this case than meets the eye. Oh? You spend some time explaining your findings to Dracogin. He seems troubled when you explain the traces of transmutation that you found on the guardrail. He's even more taken aback when you mention Justin's supposed plan to rob him. This is quite a lot to take in. Are you missing any valuables in your safe right now? No, actually, but what is it? After the accident, I did a careful inspection of the building. When I checked my office, I noticed that the lock on the safe was disengaged. The safe was opened, but you said there wasn't anything missing. That's right. When I saw the safe open like that, I was already worried that I had been robbed. But I double-checked. The contents. Everything was accounted for. Because of that, I just assumed I'd forgotten to lock it. This doesn't make any sense. Maybe it was just a coincidence. I might believe that if it weren't for where my office is located. What do you mean? The walkway that Justin fell from leads to my office. There's a window there that overlooks the refinery. That would explain why Justin was there in the first place. I don't want to suspect one of my employees, especially one that isn't alive to defend himself from such accusations. But it all just fits too perfectly together, except for one thing. Why wasn't anything stolen? Well, regardless, I think you have a pretty good case. So, does this mean you'll represent me? After what I've discovered, I won't just stand by and let Von Sanctus have his way. Well spoken. I'm glad to have you on my side, Mr. Cuthbert. Anyways, regardless of why, someone clearly magically tampered with the site of the accident. I doubt the court will find you at fault for what happened. Although... What's wrong? Civil cases are a lot less strict than criminal cases. If we present evidence suggesting foul play using magic, they'll treat this exactly like our other cases. Yeah, they might stall the trial until they find out what exactly happened. For this accident, all we have to go on is witness accounts. Finding concrete evidence of what happened could very well be impossible. But the idea of hunting down the mage responsible sounds very tempting. Looks like you have your work cut out for you. I just hope things turn out okay in the end. And with Von Sanctus on the other side of this, who knows what might happen? It'd be best to keep your wits about you. I can't believe this. I have more important things to do than resolve your petty squabbles for you. Yes, yes, the missing ship of your betrothed. Listen, the sooner you help me resolve this mess with Dracogin, the sooner you can return to being the princess of the lapdog. That is to say, once I'm not preoccupied with this case, House Von Sanctus can provide the resources that you and the Inquisition need. I suppose I don't have a choice, do I? Well, at least this case should be relatively straightforward. And then we showed up.